And we're live. Welcome to the Boredom Podcast, where I go live because I'm bored. Welcome anybody that joins and anybody that I know. Feel free to hit the link and join up on the panel. I've got a topic that I'd like to discuss, and I'll wait until we have a few people before I discuss it. Hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. I did pretty good. I just ended up getting a tablet for Christmas, and I can't figure out how to get it to connect to StreamYards so that I can play music through it. It won't enable my mic or camera. So there's that. Somewhere in my Google settings it says, "Hey Inga, welcome, welcome, welcome." I actually have a topic for tonight if people want to join. Yep, I just got the notification he went live too. It's like he saw that I went live and decided to go live. I know he didn't, but it's funny. That's fine. I'm hoping to get a couple more people in here and have a conversation, but with it being the holidays, I doubt it. So, topics on the topic of the page. So, I'm trying to wait for more people to show up to discuss it, but if nobody does, then I'll just start blabbing. I tried to hook up the tablet to be able to play music while I was waiting for people to show up, and it won't enable the mic or camera. So, there's an issue with Google somewhere. Right? I appreciate you. I was toying for almost an hour trying to figure out how to get the tablet to be able to do the live, and it kept disabling the mic and camera on the tablet. So it says there's some kind of setting in Google that I have to do, and I can't figure it out because the tablet looks different than what I'm used to, and I can't find what I need to enable to allow it. But the topic for tonight is ultimatums versus suggestions. Which people prefer and which people dislike and why. I have a feeling I already know what people will pick, but because I know me personally, I would prefer a suggestion over an ultimatum any day. I tell people all the time, if you give me an ultimatum, I'm going to choose whoever or whatever you're giving me an ultimatum um, for out of spite. Yeah, I understand, Inga. It's all good. So we had a second viewer, but they left, I guess. Or hopefully they're hitting a link to join, if I know them. By the way, on my community page, I have a post about if people would like to go over there and post questions for the podcast for us to discuss or topics to discuss. So there's that also. Like I said, I'm just bored, hoping people will show up because I kind of like doing this, and if I have engagement, but not to mention every time I do a live like this, I get at least one or two extra subscribers and or um, viewers from somewhere. So I figure I gotta keep doing, keep grinding and doing the lives almost every other day until I reach that point where I get monetized, or I start actually having a good group of followers showing up. And I do see through my analytics that when I do have people on the panel, more people tend to show up. But when I'm by myself, I'm kind of boring. I'm not trying to steal views from anybody, but I just wish that the night owls would hit me up some. I enjoy the conversation. So I'm gonna be sitting here boring as hell until people show up. And if nobody shows up, I'll probably shut it down early. Just because I know there's a lot of other people live. So I don't know what to talk about other than, like I said, the topic that I have is ultimatums versus suggestion. And I've already stated that I prefer somebody giving me a suggestion than an ultimatum because will usually choose whatever the ultimatum is out of spite for whoever puts forth an ultimatum. That's why, when people do that, I tend to go away from them than gravitate toward them. So, welcome, extra viewer. It says we have 2 viewers. Feel free to type in the chat. If you have any questions or topics to talk about, just let me know. If I know you, feel free to hit up the link and join the panel. And if you're apprehensive about joining panels and I know you, then just know that, we don't have a whole lot of subscribers and there's not a whole lot of people in here, so it's a good way to cut your teeth on joining a panel and seeing what it's all about and how to do it. And it's pretty self-explanatory once you hit the link. It's just a matter of going in, setting up your mic. All right, MMC. I'm not forcing anybody. I'm not giving ultimatums either. I just I'm pretty boring by myself, so I need somebody to talk with and or two. So I prefer having the engagement. I appreciate you stopping by. I know there's a lot of other people that are live, unless some of them have already shut down or not. But yeah. We just chatting it up. I'm here floundering by myself. Trying to build my channel up by doing these lives so that I have something to do other than sitting around watching everybody else. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. You got HBR, um, Jackson Pierce, Lori and Holly's sisters were alive. I don't know if they still are or not. It should be pinned at the top of the thing, but I can edit again. There you go, MMC. Feel free to pop on up. We can chat about a little bit of everything. Well, it was pinned, but I also went ahead and typed it in the chat. You might want to double check and make sure that you don't have me banned or whatever, or make sure you're on the live and not the top chat. I don't know if that matters for the pinned comment, but I did pin it. And then Inga also posted it too. But yeah, feel free to hit it up. There we go. What up?
What's up? What's up?
Not much, just chilling.
Oh man, these streets have been crazy.
I feel you. That's one of the
Yeah,
reasons why I started the Boredom podcast, because I was bored of all the drama and I just wanted to give people an alternative.
I mean, I don't know if you keep up with what's going on with Mocon and all that.
Vaguely,
Um,
but I try not to. I'll
uh,
hop into Dan's lives every now and then and hang out for a few minutes, and then when it gets boring, I'll just shut it off and go to watch something else.
yeah. So anyway, supposedly he was supposed to be on day 3 of on VIX XL.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it got rated. Remember the old days of rating channels?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it got rated and he got voted out.
Oh, wow.
And Bird, Gene, and being quiet. Mocon's over there playing with his new toys.
That's
Can't
fine.
find can't find the lizard people.
Mm-hmm.
Dan and Amy are just disappeared, dude.
Well, if he's not talking about them, I think that they're probably just spending time together
Yeah,
since she came to visit him, and I hope they're happy and not having to deal with any drama.
I think they decided not to, really.
Yeah. I mean,
You
everybody's
know,
getting tired of the bullshit, basically.
yeah, so do I. I mean,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's starting to get tired of it.
and, you know, we sit there and we talk about the days that, when we used to all just run around channel to reaction channel, got to know people,
Mm-hmm.
pushing the artist and everything. And
Right.
it just got to the point where you can't no more.
Right. Well, you can, but it is harder because you have to make
It's
sure
hard.
that it's an independent artist. And some
It's
of the
gotten,
independent artists are going mainstream.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's harder. It can be done, but it's harder. Plus, there's people like Alpha Tyler who streams not only to YouTube but to Twitch because Twitch is a little bit more relaxed with their copyright laws, and you can
Yeah.
actually get away with more on Twitch than you can YouTube nowadays. So,
I mean, anymore, man, you really got to be tech savvy
hmm
anymore.
yeah,
I mean, we just used to do it on Facebook and you
hmm
know, YouTube, but now, man, you got Twitch, Twitter, you got Kick,
Rumble,
you got Rumble,
yep,
you got all kinds of platforms, and
hmm
I don't know, and it just seems like drama, man. It's everywhere.
yeah. Well, a lot of people feel that drama sells because they'll get that quick pop, but when they stop doing the drama, they see their numbers fall off,
Yeah,
and it starts to confuse and belittle people. How whenever they do, participate in the drama, and then they don't want the drama around, they feel they have to keep it going because that's all people are coming to see. Whereas if you start out without having the drama and try not to feed into any drama, you tend to grow slower, but it's steady.
yep. It's kind of hard to play the game anymore.
Hmm
You got all these young kids that seem to be a little more tech savvy.
Yeah, and the
Uh,
attention span of a gnat.
yeah,
That's the
you
big
know,
thing with today's society is that everybody's attention span has gotten smaller. People don't like long form content. They want to go get a quick 5 second or 10-second clip off of a TikTok and laugh or dance or whatever and move on. And everybody thinks that they're going to get rich quick doing internet shit. And once they start it, they realize it ain't that
y-
easy.
you you ain't gonna get famous and you ain't gonna get rich.
Yep.
Them days are gone.
Yep. It's best to just look at it as a hobby and do what you like.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm doing.
You know,
Just gotta chill out, relax, and give people an alternative to meet up and hang out.
that's what we need to find. Um,
Hmm
they've got so many restrictions of what you can discuss and what you can't discuss. You don't know who's going to report your channel for disagreeing with you,
Right.
looking up your information and putting your info out there and trying to
No,
create drama.
I
I've
mean,
seen
with
channels that I used to go to.
uh huh.
It's like this such a small channel, it's about arts
hmm
and crafts. Drama
Right.
won't find it over here. I- I'd be dang if it don't.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is with the people putting your information out there, it's like if it's public information to begin with, is it really putting your information out there? You know what I'm saying? Hi, Miss Luck. Because
Hey,
like
Miss
people can
Luck.
look up where I live and talk about it all they want. I know
I
where I
mean,
live and all that, and it's public information.
well, see, most of this drama and everything, it's out there
Mhm.
and it can be publicly found.
Right.
I mean, from your arrest records to
Right.
newspaper articles to what
Yeah.
you did in high school to,
Mhm. Right.
so
The
anybody can
the
find it.
right. The key to the fact of whether or not you want your drama out there is the whole, he without sin casts the first stone. If you have any skeletons in your closet, you should not be talking about other people, because somebody will dig up your skeletons and put them out there to show that you're not that nice person,
Hey, I'm a human being. I've made mistakes in my life. So
right?
fucking what? If you hate me that much that you're gonna dig it up and use it to hate on me even more power to you.
Right. Yeah, I
You
try
know,
not to. I try not to feed into the online hate. If somebody wants to talk shit about me, I'm like, at my age, I've been talked shit about so much that it doesn't bother me. I
oh
don't
yeah,
care. I'll ignore you, because
I
as my
don't care.
father pointed out to me, it's you can't argue with yourself, and if you're not feeding into it, that's all they're doing is arguing with themselves.
Exactly.
And if you're so worried about your reputation that you think that people will believe when somebody makes up lies about you, prove it by your actions. You don't have to feed into the drama. You can ignore it and just when tell people to, come hit you up to talk about it, and explain to them, this is who this is what they're doing. I'm not engaging, I don't give a shit. It's the same thing I did before the internet. When people talk shit about me, I didn't go run and try to fight people. I was like, okay, why are they talking shit about me? Oh, it's because I'm friends with somebody that they don't like. Okay, I don't care.
Hmm. Or you did something that they wanted to accomplish and they're
Hmm.
jealous.
Yeah.
You know,
Jealousy is a big factor, yeah.
I mean,
And I mean, I've had people call me out for engaging in it all because, I would jump into a live and I'd get talking about people with somebody, but it was the fact that I was trying not to and trying to persuade them away from talking about people. But, I'm human. I make mistakes too. So,
and
I admit to my faults. That's another thing people on the internet don't like to do.
and there's people that they're friends with people and they'll take up with them and everything
Mhm.
else.
Mhm.
And you know the people that I hang with,
Right.
and I've known them for quite a while, and
Mhm.
we've actually met in person and everything, and
Right.
helped each other out.
Mhm.
And that's like attacking my family. So it's kind of hard sometimes to stay out of things.
Right, and I understand that, but at the same time, the way I also look at it is when my friend has beef with somebody else, that's between them and not me. And I know it's
Well, it
hard to
it
stay out of it, but it's one of those things that I feel people are a big boy or a big girl and they can handle themselves, and if they can't, then if they ask for my help, then I'll help, but I usually try to stay out of it.
yeah, I understand where you're coming from,
Yeah.
but the ah, I don't want to bring it up on your channel.
I understand. And I
You
know
know,
exactly where you're coming from, and I sympathize because I understand the situation. I just don't like feeding into it.
yeah, but some people, they do it to themselves.
True, true,
They just don't know when to stop with the bullshit
right.
when
But as I
you
yeah,
tried
but as,
to,
yeah.
you know, work with them and, come to a conclusion and they just don't want
Well, it's
to.
like well, it's like I said. People when a situation like that arises, you have to find dig into your soul and figure, okay, this has to stop at some point. Who's going to be the bigger person and put an end to it?
Well, that's exactly why I'm involved
Yeah.
because I tried to help a certain individual and
Mhm.
he slapped me in one cheek. I turned the cheek. He slapped me in the other one and then spit in my face.
Yeah. Well, that's when you
So
wash your hands of that person and walk away. You don't
I
help them
tried
anymore. You
that
don't
too.
do anything. You don't
Tried that
even
too.
give them the time of day. You don't view them. You don't follow them. You don't watch what they're doing. You just completely cut them off.
Well, when you're on the internet and you got people sitting there sending you messages and everything that,
Mhm.
he's saying this and he's saying that and they're doing this and they're doing that, and and it's repetitive, where do you draw the line?
No, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's different. Everybody has to figure out where to draw that line. And when you have people that are feeding it to you, you have to stop them and go, "Look, I don't care. Don't tell me about it because I don't want to know about it. And if you're going to keep telling me about it, that makes you look like you're stirring the pot." You know what I'm saying? And if you sit back and look at it as to who's constantly bringing it up to you in private and who's not, those are
Yeah.
your pot stirrers. It's one thing to go as a friend and say, "Hey, look, somebody's talking bad about you," as a friend, but when you go every day and or you know every day of every week of every month, DMing your friend saying this person's talking about you, at some point you got to realize, oh well, they're just talking shit. I don't need to tell my friend every time they're talking shit because that's just going to stress my friend out.
Well,
And
this is true, but
yeah.
what I'm getting at is, the close group,
Mhm.
and we're all getting messages, saying, "Hey, so and so's doing such and such," and and it's been carrying on for so long,
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
and
And the person in that's the person that everybody is discussing has been talking about this for almost 3 years now. And at some point, everybody's got to look at it and go, okay, he can't let it go because he wants and needs attention. Let's not feed into it
we've
and leave
tried.
him be. Oh, I know everybody says they tried, but at the same time, people are going and watching and stream sniping and listening, and they know what's being talked about all the time, or they have people reporting to them everything. You have to put your foot down and stop it at some point. You got to say, look, I don't want to know about this. I don't care. And if
Hmm.
people find it funny and they do it because they're trolls and they find it funny, that's fine. That's on them. But at that point when you're tired of it, you have to put your foot down and say, "Look, I don't want to hear about this at all," and find alternative things to do and talk about. And if your friend is dealing with that, you let them deal with that, and you move on to whatever you want to do.
Hmm.
You know, it's one of those things that if if online drama is causing you to either A, be stressed, or B, the only thing that you're consuming online, then there's some kind of issue that people should be looking into, you know?
I I don't know. I kind
You
of
might
get into the drama
mhm,
and everything and trying to
mhm.
figure people out because to me it's real life and to me it's more entertaining than anything I can find on cable TV.
Yeah, well, it's one thing to sit
I
back
mean,
and observe, but it's another thing to interject yourself, you know?
well, mainly I observe
Right. And I know you do, and you know
and I'll go in and I'll crack a few jokes about it,
mhm,
here and
right,
there.
right.
But it I find it very entertaining.
Yeah. I
I
don't.
To me
I
it's like a bunch of hairless monkeys behind a piece of glass throwing feces at the
right,
zoo.
right, and
It can
for
be
me, I
very entertaining and it can be very funny.
yeah, and for me, I don't find it funny and entertaining. It to me feels like, high school cliques and drama all over again. And I'm doing the same thing I did when I was in school. Is I would float through those cliques and everything, and I would
Yeah,
observe. And the people that I thought were cool, I hung out with, and the people that I didn't think were cool, I avoided. And I've known Dan and HBR and all them's for almost 6 years now online.
yeah,
So
we've known each
I
other for quite a while.
yeah, so I'll go into their lives to support them. But like I said, when they're doing a 12-hour stream snipe of that person, I'm not going to sit there for the whole time. I'm going to take off.
Oh yeah,
I'll pay attention for a little while, and then I'll go find something else to do.
yeah,
You
yeah. I
know,
understand that.
I'm not gonna be involved in it. And I try not to interject my thoughts into it all, except for trying to tell people, hey, at some point people need to walk away from him because the less and less people pay attention to him, the more he's gonna get louder and try to get people to pay attention, which is going to cause less and less people to pay attention to him, which is going to make him realize the error of his ways, or he's just going to get louder and louder until everybody, even the people that rock with him, turn their back on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up on the chat.
Right. That's
See
fine.
if any.
Yeah, we get some lurkers occasionally that watch and don't type.
Yeah.
But I also, like I said, I also notice that I tend to get more views when I have people on panel to talk with because we actually have talk and conversation than when I'm by myself because I'm pretty boring by myself.
Well, since we've been on this topic about people being online a lot more than what they do watching TV and you
Mhm.
know and getting in real life,
Mhm.
you know, I think that's a good topic
Yeah.
of
Oh,
how
yeah.
it's
Well.
actually
Mhm.
affecting society. Period.
Oh yeah. The internet has been a good and bad thing for society since its inception. I mean, we have
Hmm.
more information at our fingertips, but yet a lot of people don't choose to research anymore. they take a headline and run with it without finding out the facts behind it or if it's even a real story or not.
And like you said, they want all of their information in a 10 to 20-second clip, and they
Right,
base everything off of that instead of
right,
going and doing the research and anymore finding out the way that information is put out. You don't know what, it's hard to tell what's real and what isn't real anymore.
right. And that's where research and looking into topics and everything else are paramount for the internet.
You
Because just because somebody says something doesn't make it fact. You have to go and look it up and find out. Do your independent
people
research.
people get into following talking heads.
Yeah,
They draw
it's the
their
cult of
information from
personality.
one source. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the cult of personality. It's, oh, I like this person, so I'm gonna follow them blindly and not think for myself. And I've always been a an anti that. I always have, like said before, is I've always gone against what people tell me as an ultimatum. If you give me a suggestion, I'm more likely to listen to it. But if you give me an ultimatum, I'm going to do the opposite out of spite because you gave me an ultimatum.
In other words, don't listen to just one side just because you agree with it.
Yeah, that too.
It you got to listen to both sides.
Right. And it's like with
And
politics, I'm a registered independent because I watched and listened to both sides, and well, actually all sides, even when there's independents running. And I vote for who I think is the lesser of the evil because all politicians are lying bastards that'll just tell you what you want to hear. You just got to try to pick the one that most closely aligns with your beliefs.
well, I can agree with that, but what I'm getting to is, the left says this, the right says that, then you got the independents that, are just barely on one side of the fence or the other.
Hmm.
You know, you got to listen to both sides.
Right. That's
You
kind of
got
what I
to
was saying.
you got to dig into everything
Right.
and be able to draw your own conclusion
Right.
on your own beliefs.
Yeah. And that's what I was telling people that I felt was I thought that when Trump was going for his reelection, that if he would go as independent instead of a Republican or Democrat, it would have been a better thing because it would have made for more of a three-party system. Because there are those that play both sides of the fence, and he was actually trying to stop a lot of that and stop all of this collectivism and all that, and get rid of the corruption in politics. And both sides were trying to stop him from doing that. So if he had gone independent instead and ran as an independent, then I think it would have been better for the country. But he decided to run as a Republican and got the Republican
Well,
nomination and lost accordingly to uh, Biden.
I don't know. I think if he would have run as an independent and if he would have got elected, I don't think either side would have considered him much of a threat.
No, I
They
disagree. I
they
think they
they
would have
would have
saw him as
tried
more
to.
of a threat and tried to shut him down.
Well, he said that he was gonna expose and clean up the swamp.
Hmm.
Whether he run independent or Republican
Hmm.
or Democrat, he's exposing a lot of stuff
Right.
that people had turned a blind eye to for most of my generation.
Right.
You know,
And then on top of that, I don't necessarily think people turn a blind eye in our generation because I think you're
they
close
just
to my
didn't
age.
know.
It's that things have changed from the inside out, Because I know when I was growing up, I was always taught if you want to see change, get involved in what you want changed and change it from the inside out. And I think that's where a lot of the leftists, the communists, the fascists thrived in is they took that to heart and did it and got involved in politics and in you know law and everything else and tried to change the American way from the inside out and destroy it. And we need more people to step up and go, I'm not afraid of, smear campaigns and mud throwing. I can do the same back, or I can take it and, prove that I'm a good person and get elected and change that stuff from the inside out back to the way the American way is supposed to be. But that's just my opinion on it, is that we need more good people to run for office. No matter what side of the fence you're on, good people instead of people that are trying to dismantle the American way. People that can come
Well,
to compromise and see both sides of a story and, you know, make compromise and be sensible and try to limit the reach of the federal government because that's not supposed to have been the way it is,
well, history repeats itself.
right?
I mean, if you go back to the Roman Empire, I mean,
Oh
it
yeah,
was thriving
every
and
empire
everything else.
fails.
And, we are an empire.
Mm, to a
And
degree.
eventually it's going to happen.
Well, I think the
I
reason
mean,
that it's not going to happen is because America went from being an empire and trying to land grab like most empires do, which caused them to fail, to not doing that and trying to um, make change around the world from a peaceful standpoint instead of a warrior standpoint. And that's a good thing, but at the same time, we haven't focused on
we've
America
been
as
thrown
much as we
into
should.
being the world's police system,
True, and we shouldn't be.
and we shouldn't be. We
Right.
should be worried about our country, our people, our borders,
Mhm.
and the outside threats.
Right.
But when you're involved in everybody else's business because everybody works and deals for raw materials and everything else,
Mhm.
that's what it
Right.
all comes down to.
Mhm.
This whole thing, with Russia being involved in the Middle East, it's all about the natural oil and gas, the pipelines. Russia's wanting to build across Europe to supply, gas and oil to the freaking Eastern Europe. I mean, Western Europe.
Well, with
You know,
Ukraine, they're just trying to take back land that they originally owned as the USSR, but the countries broke free and tried to be independent, and that's basically a civil war. We shouldn't be involved in that. And with
yeah,
the
but
the whole thing in Israel,
then
that's
you get to
that's
looking at
terror.
politicians that have corrupted themselves and interjected
Mhm.
themselves
Mhm.
and profited off of it.
Mhm. Oh yeah,
You know,
the way that our political system is needs to be overhauled because the forefathers originally set it up that um, to be in the House and the Senate, it was a part-time job. It wasn't a full-time job. It was a civic duty to do, and you weren't to be paid like it was a real job. You had to have a real job and then go to this. And it's been corrupted so bad that you have special interest groups that are funding politicians and everything else, and they're making billions of dollars being a politician, and they shouldn't be. They should be working for the people, not the other way around.
exactly. because at the end of the day, it's the people that hold their
Hmm.
head fucking up,
Yeah.
you know?
We are supposed to be a country that is run by the people for the people, and it's not like that anymore.
And if we say we do not want to be involved in any war, that means we don't want, I don't care what your foreign policies are or anything else. When was the last time they say, oh, the polls say this, the polls say that? When was the last time you were ever asked
Yeah,
in a
polls
polling?
can be polls can be skewed to whatever opinion you have because like Fox
Exactly,
News
but
poll, they're only polling Republicans. CNN poll, they're only polling Democrats. Even if they say they're polling both, they're polling more of whatever demographic they're wanting to prove than the other. So
well,
polls
that's what
are just I don't even listen to the polls anymore.
I'm saying. It used to be when I was growing up, man. When even back in the Clinton days,
Mhm.
you know, Clinton wanted, to throw something at the people and say, "What do you all think about this?" I mean, the telephone lines were ringing,
Mhm.
and they would actually do a freaking poll of America. Now it's this online, and you don't know if it's accurate and correct or if it's paid for
Well,
and skewed.
I mean, even back then when people were doing telephone call polls, they were skewed then
Oh, there.
too
If
because
there's a way
it
to cheat, people are going to
yeah,
find a way to cheat.
true. Yeah, that is true. And people hold that philosophy that it's not cheating unless you get caught. Now it's still cheating, but everybody has a different opinion on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I usually try not to talk politics, but this is a very interesting conversation. That's fine, Miss Luck.
Oh,
It's fine. I wish that I could play music, but being on my
I wish
phone,
I
it's
could
hard
too,
for
but
me too.
yeah, we're too low tech.
Well, I mean, I got a tablet for Christmas, but I've been having issues with trying to get it to get online. I mean, I can get online to watch stuff, but to use the StreamYards or anything like that, um, it's telling me that the cam and mic will not be enabled. I have to go into my Google settings and enable it. And when I try, I can't figure out how to do it.
Jay, back when I was doing my channel about
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago,
Uh
if it wasn't for my son, I would have never had a channel because he was the tech guru.
huh. I feel
You
you.
know, he understood that shit,
Yeah.
and I understood, the numbers and everything else and the time zones and how
Yeah.
to work it. You know, if I wanted people that were over in Australia or, over in Europe and everything
And what time to go
to,
live and all that. Yeah.
yeah, I had to have it, uploaded and everything and ready to go by a certain time in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hitting their time zones around lunch, so
Right.
there's a lot involved in doing a channel that people
Oh
don't
yeah.
really understand. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah. There's a lot that goes
But
into it. For every content creator that you see a recorded video that takes like 10 to 30 minutes, they're actually putting in probably about 4 or 5 hours or more into that
yeah,
because of editing and recording, and they may record for like 2 or 3 hours to get a 10-minute video or a
10 to
30-minute
15 minute
video.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah, there's a
me
lot
and my
that goes
son
into the
used to
content creator.
do reactions and everything. And like you said, it'd
Uh-huh.
take 2 to 3 hours, and then we'd have to go back through, and then we'd have to clip parts out, and this, that, and the other, and we went
Edit.
too long here. We need to
Mm-hmm.
shorten it. you know,
Edit like the 2 or 3 minute pause of no talking because you couldn't think
yeah.
of anything to say. Yeah.
Or
So.
you get in an argument with your younger son over a song
Mm-hmm.
or an artist, and you wind up going 15, 20 minutes, and it's like people ain't going to want to hear all this.
Yeah. Cut it down to just the argument highlights and then move on.
Because if you go past 10 to 15 minutes, you lose people. They won't watch it
Uh-huh.
all the way through.
Yep. That's back to the retention.
Hmm.
Yeah, they say that people don't like long form content anymore, with the exception of the lives, because with the live, people tend to engage longer in a live, no matter how long it goes, because of the constant interaction and the
Interaction. Exactly.
feeling like they're part of something, and being
Exactly.
in, whether it's being in chat or being on a panel, they're part of something. Whereas with a recorded reaction, or with a recorded video or whatever, um, long form doesn't usually hold attention unless it's a long form vlog of some kind where people are traveling and there's things, beautiful scenery and things to look at. But other than that, the the content should stay between 10 and 30 minutes to retain attention for a recorded video. But like I said, for a live, you can go as little as you want, as long as you have the engagement and people talking and everything, or as long as you feel like it. Actually.
Which brings us back around to the drama.
Yep.
You know, I mean, let's face it, a lot of channels get recognized because of the drama
Yeah. Well.
and infighting, and you hop from
Yeah.
one channel to the other to see what piece of information you could pick up, you
Right.
know, and see how the other side's spinning it and everything. And it's like,
Hmm.
watching a fight at a club.
Yeah. And like I said, I just don't like it. I don't like getting involved in all that. I'll go support my friends, but like I said, I'm not going to find out information as much as I am just going to say, "Hey, I'm here to support." Can't we just get along and move on and just leave them alone? And then, you know, if they feel like they don't want to, then okay, then that's fine. I'll leave them be, and I'll just pay attention to the people that are not doing the drama. Like, I hang out with Alpha Tyler's community more than anyone's because he's not involved in the drama. And there's
Yeah.
people in his community that aren't, like, Tech Riffs and others. So I try to hang out there more because it's not the drama. And then I'll go ahead and, like I said, I've been showing up to um, Lori's lives and like others that aren't doing the drama. The late night crew, I'll show up to theirs a lot of times because they're not about the drama. And
well,
then like HBR, when he does his morning lives where he's actually playing music, I show up for.
I there's some of them, I support them and everything, but I'll go over and I watch, but I won't say because
Hmm.
certain things and involvements, I don't want to
Hmm.
drag it over,
Right.
So I still watch, I still support,
I
but
feel you.
not like I used to because of the conflict
Hmm.
and drama,
Right. And then, like I said, I
and they're
started this
and
up to
they're
try to be
trying
an
to grow their
alternative.
channels,
Yeah.
you know.
Right. And that's why I tried to do this and start doing this more often, is because,
Hmm.
well, one, I get bored, and being that I'm out because I out of work because I got my toe cut off. I need something to do. So I started doing this as something to do to give myself something to do as well as an alternative to the drama streams. So,
Well,
that's
and
why I try not to discuss drama, but I'm not going to shy away from any topic. So if people want to talk about things, they can, but I try not to talk about the drama that's going on YouTube and all that, because at the end of the day, it's like I try to say to people before the age of the internet, if you found out somebody was talking about you in a negative light 3 states away, what are you going to do? Nothing, because they're three
nothing.
states away. You know, if you happen to be in their state, in their city, in their town, whatever, on a vacation, you may look them up and either whoop their ass or have a conversation and solve the beef, but you didn't constantly run your mouth about them and try to, do this back and forth of, oh, you're trying to cancel me, I'm going to try to cancel you. Oh, you're trying to cancel me, I'm trying to cancel you. You just let it be because there was that distance and you didn't have that constant interaction with them. The internet, that's one of the bad things about the internet. Everybody has constant interaction with each other and feel that their opinions are the right opinions, whether they're right or not. And there is no compromise. And people aren't willing to settle on compromise or even just decide, okay, that person's a lunatic. I'm not going to feed into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, I have no ill will toward anybody. I want to give an alternative to that. I like having conversations with people about politics and religion and comic books and movies and everything under the sun other than internet drama. And that's what I want this channel to be, is to be able to have conversations with everybody, no matter who you are, about any topic minus
Well,
the internet drama.
before COVID
Mhm.
and a lot of people becoming unemployed and
Mhm.
sitting around on their devices and everything
Mhm.
day in and
Right.
day out for entertainment,
Right.
I used to, I was a truck driver
Right.
and I used to get into watching people, well, watching the reaction channels and everything when I was down. But then I got into watching people that open pearls
Mhm.
and, had pearl parties
Right.
online.
Yeah.
And I got to know them and made friends with a bunch of them and, you know, supported their channel, bought all kinds
Yeah.
of pearls that my
Yeah.
wife loved. And the
Right.
great thing is, being traveling around the country was actually getting to stop in and say, "Hey, I'm in your state, I'm in your town, I'm at this truck stop. Hey, let's meet, let's have dinner."
Yeah.
And actually meeting people, that's
Right.
the good days of the internet.
Right. I feel you.
And
And
I
it
had that attitude when I first started my channel and everything. It was to make friends, support the independent movement of music, looking for new artists, people who create, artwork for cover art, meeting people like We Scheme that you know, was
yeah.
mixing and everything else, and getting fucking people together.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
it's nothing like that anymore.
Well, I mean, it happens. It just happens less frequently. In August, ended up taking a trip up to Kentucky, and I met with Alpha Tyler, and there was a few of the people from his community that all showed up. There was me, Alpha Tyler, Simple React. or IRL Simple, um, Just Mandy, uh, Tilly Millie, Jiminator J, Aaron Skulls, and Tech Riffs that we all got together and hung out. That everybody came from all over. Tech was, I
Yeah,
think, from over in Washington State. Jiminator and Jiminator and Sculligan, his buddy, came from Canada. Aaron Skulls was from Tennessee. We had Mel Bell and her boyfriend Silverwolf coming from Virginia, I think, and then the Just Mandy and Tilly Millie came from the Netherlands. So it was a nice meetup, and I've been wanting to try to get something together and do like a bigger convention style meetup down here because we have all these conventions that already happen down here, and it's a tourist spot anyway. So why not? But I still have to look into how to do it and what the pricing is and everything.
and that's uh like with Alpha Tyler, he went Dam went with Alpha Tyler down here to Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
uh
Okay.
to the Mises
For the Freedom
concert
Fest.
and everything.
Yeah, for the Freedom Fest.
And let's see, Alpha went out to Texas for that show with Mises and everything, and
Yep.
Outlaw Nation was there, and they were needing a DJ, and I was on Alpha's live, and I was like, "Hey, go over there and hit up Joe and them.
Yeah.
They're needing a DJ, and you're there
Right.
with Mises.
Yep.
You
That's
know,
how networking works.
that's how networking works.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
those are the days that I miss.
Right. And that's what, Alpha Tyler's always been about, and that's why he tries to avoid the drama. But, people have been less and less hanging out with his Discord and his lives and stuff, and we just don't understand why. It's like, he hasn't changed. He doesn't talk shit about people, so
Well,
why is everybody, going away instead of coming around?
I didn't leave Alpha's
Mm-hmm.
community because of the internet drama or anything like that. It's just that we got caught up on the Outlaw Nation train,
Right.
and
Which is fine.
and huh?
I said that's fine too, it's all good.
And we were there with Tim at the very beginning and getting them pushed and kicked off and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and meeting people and people inside, and
Yeah.
it was a great experience.
Right.
That we're still friends with, that are that still work the crew inside, and getting to know
Mm-hmm.
individuals that travel and work
Mm-hmm.
with them every day and still in
Mm-hmm.
contact with them. you
Yeah.
know
But
but
it'd also be nice to see, those people that rocked with Alpha Tyler and his community come back and, do the mutual support thing, But
yeah,
whenever there
I've
was a
been
rift, there was a rift, and things just haven't been the same since. Even though Tim and Alpha have put aside their differences,
yeah,
it's like people
and
just latch on to a side and stick with it.
I think people have just got caught up in other things, and
Hmm.
you know with, like we said, with the internet beef and drama and everything, that sometimes folks don't find their way back.
Right. But there's no ill
You
will
know,
either. It's just like it'd be nice to see people start hanging out and supporting because Alpha only
yeah,
really goes live on YouTube on Thursday nights, and then he's been starting to do community lives on either Saturday or Sunday. So
I even though I drifted away, I used to follow his Monday morning messages every Monday.
Yeah.
Stop, think, ponder.
Yep. I miss
What he was.
his Monday morning motivations also,
Yeah,
but he's also gotten busy. He has a lot of stuff that he's doing behind the scenes with not only Mises but a few other artists and stuff. He's also got his own company that he has going and everything else where he DJs and all that too.
right. And people grow.
Mhm.
You know, I
Yep.
mean, remember when Tim first started? I mean, and look where he stands now.
Yep.
How do we you know keep people growing? Because after a while, like we said, the drama gets dry, it gets old. How you going to
Mhm.
revamp yourself? How you going to move on? What are you going to do
Right.
next? How you
Right.
going to grow?
And I think the key to that is just keeping the connections that you've made and focusing on cultivating, you know, the connections and friendships that you've made along the way and not letting them go by the wayside until you need them to always, show support to people no matter what. And just, that way, whenever things do
it
get better, y'all can just go back to being the way you were.
you know channel hopping and you know pushing
Hmm.
music and artists like we used to. We met so many people and everything, and some people grew, some people just stayed stagnant and everything.
Hmm.
And you know, it's hard to keep up with everybody.
Oh yeah, it is, but that's why when
Every
you're
once in a
supporting people,
while,
you're supposed to, follow them so
yeah.
that whenever you can go back to them, you know, and anytime an artist posts something, that you get a notification that they posted something, so you can go listen to it again and constantly be pushing the new stuff people put out there. But with reaction channels, you stay a fan and you watch what you like, and you don't watch what you don't like, and
Well, that's
you
like
stay in contact.
JP
Hmm.
Jackson Pierce.
Right.
After we used to do all of our channel hopping and promoting and everything, and
Hmm.
we always wound up over at JP's because he never slept.
Yeah,
Jackson
that
Pierce,
is
the
true.
artist that never sleeps,
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
was always live, and we go over there, and hell, he was introducing a lot of artists.
Right.
And there was a lot of artists hanging out in his chat and everything.
Hmm.
He's someone that gets overlooked.
True.
You know,
Right. But yeah, I
you know.
think the key everybody needs to remember is within growing is not to forget where you came from and the people that you meet along the way. Because yeah, there are some POSs out there that you need to put by the wayside and not pay attention to. But the good people that you meet along the way, you need to keep in contact with them. And even if you fail to keep in daily contact, at some point you need to go back and go, hey, what's going on? How you doing? It's
Yeah,
been a while, and sorry that I know I've been busy, but I'm here now, and go back to supporting them. And even if you've had differences with somebody, if you can get along, then you can get along, and you should support the people you get along with. If you can't get along, then walk away and don't look back.
yeah, but what do you do with somebody that keeps using your group's name trying to get recognized.
Like I
And,
said, you just have to walk away and let everybody know that, you know, people need to not deal with them. If you're dealing with them, that's fine. I don't want to know about it.
yeah,
Instead of giving an ultimatum of don't do this to this person, say, look, I just don't want to be involved in it. Don't talk to me about it, and we'll be cool. I'm not gonna pay attention, and you unsubscribe, you unfollow, you don't have any interaction with them, so that you're not seeing it in your feed, and you let people know whenever they bring it up that you don't want to talk about it because you're not into all that drama and shit. You just want to, watch the reaction channel or listen to music or, hang out and have fun. You don't want to have that drama around. It also gets depressing when all you do is deal with drama all day.
yeah.
It's not good for the soul, it's not good for the mind, and it's not good for the body because it's all interconnected. If you end up with a dirty soul, then your mind gets muddied and you start feeling bad and getting into anxiety and depression, which ends up rotting your body away too, because you tend to not pay attention to what you need, and you don't eat or sleep well, and everything falls apart.
Ah.
I
I'm retired.
feel you,
I don't care.
right?
Like I said, to me, a lot of it's just entertainment.
Yeah, and I mean, if you
Ex-
take it as
except
entertainment
for the
and you
except
like
for the
it, that's
one
fine,
POS.
right? I mean, if you take it as entertainment and you find it fun, then that's fine. That you just take it as entertainment and fun. But like I said, you also have to respect those that don't want to hear about it and not talk about it with them, and find something else to talk about it. And
Yeah.
have meaningful conversations sometime other than just talking about a POS that's in everybody's lives, and try to keep him out of your lives by not talking about him. Because, like I said, he'll keep it up as long as people feed the attention.
Well, we didn't pay no attention to him for 2.5 years.
Well, is that really true? Because if
The only
nobody
time,
paid attention to him for 2.5 years, and all of a sudden people are paying attention to him again, somebody was paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Somebody was watching it and or had an alt account trolling to listen so that they could feed information to everybody else.
no,
Or
he,
people thought it was entertaining to watch, and then when he started with people's names in their mouth, people started going, "Oh well, this person whose name was in his mouth needs to know, and that person needs to know," and you know, even though that they may be thinking that they're doing it for a good reason, it's just feeding that and creating a vicious cycle there that somebody has to be the bigger person and walk away from.
mm, I walked away from a lot of stuff, but there's some stuff you just can't let go.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, you got to look at it like an abusive relationship. Are you going to stay in an abusive relationship and stay friends with somebody that abuses you? No.
Well, I've been
You're
married
going to get out of the
37 years. What do you
situation.
think? I've been abused for 37 years.
You were not abused if you've been married 37 years and you're still with them. There's love
uh,
there.
so it comes down to a
But,
love hate.
well, yeah, but there's more love than hate in a marriage that lasts 37
Well,
years.
I'm talking about the POS. It comes down to a
Oh,
love
well,
hate relationship.
right. And like I said,
You'd
it's
love
also
for him to
the
go to. You'd love for him to go away and shut the hell up and quit talking.
But you hate it
But
because if he did, then you would have nothing to talk about. Like I said, it's a vicious cycle.
so it's
It's
vice versa. Same thing on that person's end also.
true, true. If he would be the bigger person and walk away and not talk about people, then maybe the rest of them would stop too. Like I said,
Hmm.
it's an abusive relationship because you know in an abusive relationship you have somebody that's abused and you have an abuser, and the abuser's not going to stop abusing the abused until the abused leaves, and then either
And
A, they'll go
especially
find therapy, or B, get arrested, or C, that they'll find somebody else to abuse.
especially when the POS is a narcissist and lays down ultimatums.
Yeah, well, most abusers in any kind of a relationship are narcissists, and they only pick on the weak because they get picked on themselves all the time. So it's the bully syndrome, and
And they
also,
try to convince
hmm
anyone that'll listen to them that they're the one being bullied,
yeah, oh yeah, victim culture,
and
big time.
they'll lie, they'll say anything for the
hmm
few that will pay them attention.
Right, but that's where actions speak louder
Yeah,
than words in that aspect. If you prove and show that you're not what they claim you are, then eventually people will start going, "Why are you claiming this?" And they'll start looking into them and walk away. You know,
yeah, but I don't
like I
want to
said,
give them
actions
no
speak louder
attention
than
either.
words. Yeah, actions
Yeah,
speak louder than words. If you don't want the drama, don't feed it. But if you do feed it, then at least be realistic and say, "Okay, I enjoy this. This is my entertainment." And don't say that, "Oh, I'd love for this to stop because I don't want to do this." Be real. Say, "Hey, I'm feeding it because it's in my entertainment."
yeah, and I'm in love with revenge.
But anyway, I think I'm going to shut it down. I'm getting kind of tired. It's been an hour and 17 minutes.
Okay, Jay.
But I enjoyed having you on. Stop
Hey,
by
I'm
anytime.
glad to see you back up and
I
around,
appreciate it. Oh, yeah.
and we'll see what we can do and see where you want to take your channel and see if we can't get you up and get you going.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Basically, I'm just, right now, the boredom podcast is just, I go live when I'm bored, typically in the late night hours, but I've been talked to about possibly doing some in the mid afternoon, which I might do while I'm out from work.
Okay.
But you just keep an eye out, like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
I already subscribed. The only thing
Yep.
is I've got so many channels that I follow. I just gotta hit and see who's got the red light saying that they're
Right.
live because
I feel you.
YouTube, I ain't getting the notifications.
Right. Yeah.
You
And
know.
also, people need to also comment on the episodes to help with the engagement and getting it out in the algorithm, even if it's just for that. And if you have ideas for topics to talk about, you can drop them either in the comments, or I have a post on my community page for topics
Okay.
to discuss. And, we'll probably discuss them.
Alrighty.
So
I
thank
appreciate
y'all for
you
showing up.
letting me up.
Not a problem. I appreciate
And
everybody that came out. This has been the Boredom Podcast, where I go live because I'm bored. Talk to y'all later.
peace.